Education is the key that unlocks the door for the development of any nation. It is the instrument that facilitates political, economic, social, and technological development of a country. For education to play its key role on the transformation of a nation, it needs to be adequately and effectively planned, because a faulty educational planning can jeopardize a country's development for decades. Therefore, the importance of educational planning cannot be overemphasized. Good day, everyone. I am Bart Bacatano Aguilos, and I will be your rapporteur on the topic Background on Educational Planning. But what is educational planning? Educational planning is the application of a rational, systematic analysis to the process of educational development with the aim of making education more effective and efficient in responding to the needs and goals of its students and society. The transition of the basic education curriculum to what is now K-12 basic education curriculum has been a product of many studies, of a long and rigid process of planning, and all before it has been put into implementation. It wasn't just a thing for nothing. The planners have envisioned K-12 graduates to be at par with the rest of the students globally wise. It is hoped that Filipinos could be able to keep up with what the world requires. This time, we will be discussing the 5 features of educational planning. First, the main objective of educational planning is to get the most and the best results to maximize education's contribution to each individual and to the whole society as a whole. This means that educational planning is concerned with defining the main goals and determining the resources necessary to achieve those goals. Achieving a vision requires coordinated efforts that adhere to a broader organizational plan. One should be specific-wise as to who will benefit from the plan. And since it's educational planning, the end in mind is directed at our main clientele, the learners, and the society, since these learners are being molded to be able to be productive members of the society. The educational sector have goals they want to achieve, so they must consider the best way of reaching their goals, and they must decide the specific steps to be taken. However, this is not a linear, step-by-step process. It is an iterative process, with each step considered as more information is gathered. As the top management go through the planning, they must realize that a different approach is better and go back to start again. It is mentioned that educational planning deals with the future, having to get inspiration from the past. After monitoring and evaluation of past curriculums, the top management saw something that needs a redirection, and so educational planning took place and overhauling was done. The third feature, an educational plan cannot be made in a vacuum. It has to be integrally related to social and cultural background. Education is a social institution through which a society's children are taught basic academic knowledge, learning skills, and cultural norms. Schools can be agents of change or conformity, teaching individuals to think outside of the family and the local norms into which they were born, while at the same time acclimatizing them to their tacit place in society. And as such, it does not stand separately from the rest. Educational planning should integrate other factors like social and cultural background. The fourth feature, the educational planners must ascertain its plan's alignment to the goals of national development. I mentioned at the start of my discussion that education can be an agent for a nation's development. Thus, our educational planners must make sure that their plans are attuned to the goals of national development. The last feature of educational planning is that the investment in education should properly be planned so as to get a maximum return. I have always personally believed that education is the best investment a person could ever have. This can somehow alleviate one from the current social conditions, whatever that may be. As the common cliche goes, education is a door to a brighter future. This could be a debatable statement, yeah, but most would rally around me because this has been proven over time. So, investment in education should be properly planned so as to get the maximum return. Educational planning is an instrument for providing the needed coordination and direction of the different components of educational system. It also ensures that widely accepted long-term goals, such as universally primary education, are approached more objectively. It provides a realistic appraisal of the country's resources, from human, non-human, and institutional, which is an important factor in the successful implementation of the plan. Through educational planning, a country indicates its willingness to effect an orderly change or reform in its educational system by bringing into the focus the shortcomings or needs that hitherto had been ignored or unknown, and so that appropriate action can be effected. Overall educational planning, either as a part of the National Development Plan or as an independent plan, is characterized by the following. First, an attempt to bring a balanced development of all sectors of the educational system. Second, the correlation of the educational effort with the national policy for economic and social development. Third, an effort to coordinate the quantitative expansion necessitated by demographic factors and social demand with the quantitative improvement in content, structure, and methods. Last, the determination to ensure that the investment in education brings dividends in the form of fulfillment of manpower needs, the overall development of individual, and the national economic, social, and cultural development. Well, planning, as you could have observed from the discussion, is tantamount to expecting change. The question is, are you willing to adapt the change? Well, according to Peter Senge, people don't actually resist change. They resist being changed. Most people have a less than cordial relationship with change. Some have a hostile relationship with it. But change is an undeniable part of life. Change is inescapable. In fact, it has been pointed out that the only real constant in life is change. George Bernard Shaw made an important observation, and he said, "Progress is impossible without change, and those who cannot change their minds cannot change anything." Change begins in the mind. Until the mind accepts that change is necessary and preferred, the change will be resisted. Change is never painful. Only the resistance to change is painful. So again, the challenge is, are you willing to accept the change? This is Bart Bacatano Aguilos, your rapporteur.